All right, so welcome to 15 Minutes with Machine Solutions. My name is Adam Callahan. I'm the product manager for the SE1900S-500 machine. So today we are going to talk about this machine, and we're also going to talk about our current proven technologies in the stent loading world and give you a better insight on the SE1900S-500 pole loading machine and how that could benefit you and why this is a great advancement to the stent loading market. So first off, we are going to talk a little bit about leveraging the industry proven stent loading technology that we do currently here at MSI. We're going to talk about the many benefits that this offers and that our MSI equipment currently offers, and then obviously as the new launch of the pole loading machine, the benefits that we have there as well. We're going to do a brief discussion on pole loading and how this is a new approach to stent loading. So we're going to briefly talk about the angioplasty procedure and the benefits of using nitinol stents. And then we're also going to talk about why pole loading can help to avoid stent deformation in peripheral stents and talk about pole versus push loading. So to start off, we're going to talk about the crimp pulse advantage. So crimp pulse is a patented technology that is the greatest aid when you're loading nitinol stents. So the crimp pulse technology reduces the radial compression forces by vibrating the crimp head segments, which allows the stent to travel through the head under compression with ease. Radial compression forces are generated when a stent is compressed inside the crimp head, and a nitinol stent is constantly trying to return to its expanded form. So high radial forces can cause the stent to lodge itself between the Erdolite material of the segments in the compression head. And for larger stents, the forces can tend to rise above 40 pounds of compression force. And that is why the crimp pulse vibration feature is such an advantage in our machine. Another thing that can be used in the as an option for the SE1900 loader is liquid nitrogen. Liquid nitrogen can relax the nitinol stent and actually has provided some benefits in stent loading and can lower the compression forces. Crimp pulse and liquid nitrogen are both options that can be purchased additionally with any of our pieces of equipment. The next thing we're going to talk about is the self-aligning introducer sheath clamp. And these are universal to all of our SE1900 models. The sheath clamps can easily be interchanged between all of our models, the push loading machine and the pole loading machine. The sheath clamps are designed to have a series of vertical and horizontal alignments to allow for the closed head iris to be perfectly centered inside the sheath and inside the sheath clamp for precision loading. One of the things we do recommend for loading is a flared tip on the end of the sheath is an added safety feature and can actually help ensure that the strut rows do not catch on the sheath during loading. Another one of the benefits of our piece of equipment is the active force compliance. So this adjustment continually corrects the position based on the force throughout the entire crimp process and adjusts the diameter throughout. When active compliance is enabled, the crimp head servo motors adjust the position to compensate for the force exerted on the head. The actual head diameter is calculated using compliance adjustment technology, or we call it the CAT table. The crimp head diameter may vary when subjected to force So the purpose of the CAT table is to calculate a diameter offset for any given force during the run process. So during the CAT calibration, the machine builds a CAT table that records the displacement of the encoder for every pound of force exerted against a non-compressible gauge pin. Because the pin does not compress, all variation in the position of the encoder is attributable to the compliance of the system. So this is one of the benefits when you're stent loading nitinol, since it really does want to always try and expand to its original shape. A couple of the other benefits of our machine is automated force calibrations. This system uses a series of programmed force set points and interpolates force using an external force meter. This is standard process with all MSI segmental compression machines. And then lastly, all of our stent loading machines are controlled with industry leading touchscreen technology and integrated PCs. Obviously, the integrated HMI allows for easy access to machine features and programs, utilizes a PLC control system, and does have network connection capabilities. So now we're going to get into pole loading and why this is a new approach to stent loading. So our SE 1900 stent loader equipment is a necessary option in the medical angioplasty field for nitinol stent applications. So angioplasty is a procedure that is used to treat the buildup of fatty plaques in the heart's blood vessels. Angioplasty may be a treatment option for you if you've tried medications or lifestyle changes, but these have not improved your heart health. You obviously, angioplasty may be needed if you have chest pains that continue to worsen over time. If you have a heart attack, angioplasty can quickly open blocked arteries and can reduce damage to your heart. Another, quick fact about angioplasty. So this is a procedure that opens up blocked or narrowed arteries in the lower body and legs. Traditionally, it uses a balloon catheter to widen the arteries from the inside and also places stainless steel stent to keep them open. This is usually a temporary fix because the stainless steel can lose its shape over time if the patient does not follow strict health and dietary regulations. Using nitinol, angioplasty procedures can be less invasive because a smaller incision is made due to the larger ratio of compression to deploy sizes, and can be a permanent fix because the nitinol has shape memory, which allows the nitinol to have constant spring-like effect within the vessel. One of the large problems of implanting devices inside patients is longevity and the fact that we move around a lot. The most extreme case is within the heart, which cycles 60+ times per second resting heartbeat. This means that if a heart product is to last 20 years, it will be subjected to more than 630 million cycles, and nitinol is the only material able to withstand this cycle requirement. So now we're going to go into detail a little bit more about stent loading and it being the process of compressing a self-expanded nitinol stent and positioning on the delivery system while remaining in this compressed state. So nitinol is a metal alloy of nickel and titanium. Nitinol has unique properties of shape memory and is super elastic. Innovations in the manufacturing and processing of nitinol have led to great expansion of nitinol medical devices in a variety of therapeutic areas. When the doctor navigates into the vessel, the nitinol remains in its compressed state until deployment. At the time of deployment, the nitinol returns to its original form, which opens the vessel wall. So now we're going to go into greater detail about pull loading versus push loading. So when we talk about pull loading with our new SE 1900S-500 machine, this machine is greatly going to be used for large diameter peripheral stents up to 230 millimeters in length and up to 50 millimeters of non-compressed diameter, and is mainly used for angioplasty procedures. So using our patented segmental stent crimping compression head, the stent is compressed to the desired delivery diameter. While maintaining the compression, the delivery catheter is slid from the proximal side into place underneath the stent and is positioned appropriately. The introducer sheath clamp sits proximally to the crimp head in between the head and the proximal clamp. The proximal end of the delivery catheter is then clamped into the proximal pull clamp. Using crimp pulse technology to reduce the stiction while under compression, the stent and catheter are pulled into the delivery system sheath, forcing the nitinol stent to maintain its compressed form. So when we talk about pull loading versus push loading is the traditional method of stent loading and is still the preferred method for smaller diameter stents, typically less than 10 millimeters of open diameter. So for this method, the stent is crimped into the segmental compression head without the delivery catheter underneath. A push quill is used to push on the distal crown structure of the stent while under radial compression. Using crimp pulse technology to reduce the stiction, the stent is pushed into the introducer sheath, which is clamped proximally of the crimp head. Once loaded into the introducer, the delivery system is then moved into place under the stent that remains in a compressed state. This method works well for small diameter stents, less than 10 millimeters of non-compressed OD. So one of the benefits of using the pull loading machine is you can protect the crowns during the loading process, and this becomes very important when the compression forces are high in larger diameter stents. So when you start to push load a larger stent above 10 millimeters, there is typically higher compression due to the increased thickness of the strut rows. This can create stiction and the stent can become lodged inside the crimp head. As the quill pushes on the distal edge of the stent, it can damage the stent. Crimp pulse does help reduce radial forces applied to the stent, but there are times where crimp pulse is not enough and the pull loading option becomes the best option. By pull loading, you take the strain off the distal crowns of the stent and distribute the forces needed to load the stent evenly across the delivery catheter shaft. This allows crimp pulse to reduce radial compression forces, and the stent will move easier throughout the introducer sheath. By pulling on the catheter from the proximal end, you eliminate the possibility of damaging the distal end of the stent. So we believe here at MSI that the SE 1900S-500 pull loading machine is a technology that is the future of nitinol stents and stent loading. And this is an industry first technology that you can take benefit of using. So from here, the next thing to do would be to contact your local business development manager to learn more. You can go to the Machine Solutions website, download the machine specification sheet. You can schedule time to visit our process development lab, and You can also reach out to myself with any questions you have moving forward. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.